Good morning, and you're very welcome back to the channel. And this is about the radio this morning. I was out early and it was on the van, and I heard it, but I wasn't in a position to write down all the actors and all the people who are broadcasting. But it's RTE Morning Ireland programme, and this lady from RTE, well, good Yuppy accent from Dublin 4 and Dublin 6, was interviewing a member of a homeless charity. Some person who does work for homeless, and even in my locality, well down the country here, we have people who actually bring food and that up to homeless people in Dublin. From here, there's great charity like that for I don't it's Irish recipients. I don't think they discriminate about who gets it. But anyway, this lady was being asked about the whole homeless situation, and the big thing about the RTE questioner was these foreigners sleeping on the street, and her whole. The whole tenor of her discussion was, oh, the foreigners are sleeping on the street. She had absolutely no interest or empathy or sympathy with our own Irish people sleeping on the street. Absolutely none. And this is in keeping with my video on the woke Irish women in Dáil Éireann and in Senate Éireann, complaining about white, straight, pasty-faced men. What I'm trying to get across to you folks, and to spread this round as best I can, is the absolute hatred of this particular species of, they're Irish, I think, mostly, Irish people, mostly women, who hate us with a vengeance, And you could say Eamon Ryan is one, and he's a man, and Roderick O'Gorman is another, just to name a couple. And I think Mary Robinson is almost another one as well. And you see this trend, this alien culture coming into our society, and to me it sticks out like a sore thumb. I mean, I just talk about it, and it seems to go down well with my viewers. So anyway, the RTE one said, oh, foreigners are being targeted. Oh, they're being targeted. Well, and the woman replied, and she says, well, the Irish are being targeted too. Now, what's happened since the riots in Dublin, and it's all terrible with these lefties, including the Minister for Justice, Helen McEntee, who's a lefty, and including the Garda Commissioner, Drew Harris, who's another woke lefty. This horror of this riot, which nobody was badly injured, thank God. There was a bit of property, but no injured damage, but nobody was badly injured. It has brought this into perspective and has put the focus on it. Now, what's happening in anyone that's around Dublin this last few years, number one, it's loaded down with druggies shooting up in the doorways, shooting heroin up into their arms right in front of your face. The other thing is, it's full of Asian gangs and Romas hanging around and taking over Onon Street, and nobody ever told them you can't do that. There used to be an offence of loitering long ago. Now that's not done. So the thing is, Roma are a particular species of Romanians. They're a minority in Romania, and they're well known the world over. And they do commit crimes, some of them. I can't say they all do. I was robbed by one of them in Rome while on holidays. I could know the head of them a mile away. And I see them around Onon Street, and the first thing you do when you see them is you start to wonder, where did you leave your credit card? Or where's your money? Where's your cash? But we do have to do that for Irish people as well. But why do we want to add more to our misery? So anyway, there was a big thing. Oh, the Roma children are attending school. Do you see the whole woke thing? Oh, they're at school. Oh, isn't that lovely? Wasn't that lovely? And to hell with the Irish. Go to hell. And if they don't get in the door, it doesn't matter. And I know a young lad who had to go to a Gael school down the Midlands because the whole foreigners had taken up all the places in the school. And this is what RTE can force us to pay our licence for. Right? To push this hatred of us. Now, if they want to take me up on hate speech, folks, I'm repeating it. Hatred of we Irish people. That's what is spouted by RTE on behalf of the cultural Marxist woke left. And I'm just trying to bring forward the time when the Irish people identify it for what it is. So, anyway, they attended school and they didn't do anything at school and all this sort of thing. Why aren't they over in Romania, where they come from? Now the next thing is they're on about RTE. Oh, there was threats against Asian gangs hanging around the cafes. The whole North City cafes are all infiltrated with these fellas, and you go in to have a cup of coffee, and the carry-on in there would just turn you off. And some of the people running these cafes are worse. They invite them in. And some of the Irish that come in there aren't fit to be in cafes at all, coming in all junked up to the 99s, and you sit down there with your cup of coffee, and they're there in front of you, and the trousers falling off them, and them unwashed and everything else. And this is the low standards we have. But the point is, the hassle with the Asian and the Romas and all them is all in Onon Street and northward. It's not southward. There's a partition in Ireland. There is a partition between Northern Ireland and Southern Ireland, an official border. But there's a partition between North Dublin City and South Dublin City. Now, it's not exactly all south, in that if you draw a line over along the Liffey and pull down by Ballyfermot and Clondalkin, that's working class areas. It's the bit in that south-east, Dublin-based south, and that area, where that fella Pat Kenny lives and objected to a residential nursing home going right next door to him, and he has a big judicial review running on that. Now, so here we see the whole standard of life being threatened by our own government, who love this, who love it, provided it's not dumped on Donnybrook or Ranelagh. That's the condition. Or Dunleary Rathdown. Oh, we're Dunleary Rathdown. I came in on the bus one from Dunleary, and to see all the yuppie young ones coming from college, and just coming, and they wonder, you think you're in Kent. But anyway, right, in Sweden, as you know, this has gone so bad that they had to take in the army, and eventually could only be getting a handle on it by voting these people out, and we all have to double our efforts to poison this whole psychology, this whole way of thinking, and try and get ordinary voters to realise this is not what we want, and to realise that while Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael and Labour and these Greens are at it, Sinn Féin has the very same up their sleeve. Sinn Féin has the very same thing up their sleeve. And you see what I'm doing? I'm trying to alert people to ask Sinn Féin, well, what's your policy? We know what the policy is: to treble and double every month the amount of migrants coming into Ireland. Now, so they have taken over Onon Street. It's not the same as it was. I mean, our capital city should be a showpiece and an enjoyable place to go. And this is what you're confronted by. These bitches is the word I use in RTE and out the south side, trying to form policy and trying to use this migration to destroy the working Irish people, so that they can have their ivory tower out in the southeast and pontificate and make the rules. Imagine how many of them I named in that last film on the Irish woke women. There must have been 7, all in the Oireachtas, all in there, where they can appoint judges and everything. How did we allow that to happen? So they're taking over Onon Street. There's none in Donnybrook. Everything's in the north side. And why do the north siders vote for these yuppies to the south? Now, there was accommodation offered in Dublin South, down around Donnybrook somewhere, for a crowd of migrants. I don't know exactly what they were. They may have been Romanians, I don't know. But there was offered there. And this is going to make a big building. It was some kind of a big hotel that was gone into disrepair. And we're going to do it up and fill it full of migrants. And a barrister from that locality, a legal person, threatened to go to court to stop them. Now, in my view, he had no grounds. But of course, once he made a few shapes, they backed down. So you see the double standard. Do you see the hypocrisy? Oh, you take them up in the north side. Well, we're not having them down the south now. You know, we're not having even nursing homes, according to Pat Kenny. And we're not going to have these migrants in old hotels down in Donnybrook, taking away the whole appearance. Oh, the appearance of our environment and all this. This is the crowd of creeps you got. This is the crowd of creeps, and they're voting Green, and the Greens, there was a wind farm promised for up about the Sally Gap, and Ryan blocked it straight away. Ryan blocked it straight away, Eamon Ryan. Okay, now, so anyway, that was the barrister did. I think they backed down on that. It doesn't take much to make them back down. It really is locality racism. It's a form of apartheid. It's locality racism. Dublin 4 and 6 say, dump all your junk down on Dublin North. Dump all your windmills down on the country. Let them go to hell. We have the power up there. This is where we have all our barristers. This is where we have all our judges living, and we will rule the roost. Now, can I make a big effort to try and get my viewers to understand this? I can look at the situation and analyse it and come up with an assessment of what they are at. Not to say there aren't some good people living out there in Dublin 6 and Dublin 4, and I know some of them. Some of them are very good. Some of them are actually helped me in my campaign, and I can tell you we have one particular man, I'll not name him, who is the greatest European environmental law expert and has helped me so much. So of course there's always the exception. Please understand that. There's always the exception. Now, I have said that this broke RTE should be horsed out of Donnybrook. Horsed out, and the place to put them is up in Ballycoolan. There's a good travelling camp up there. Land them in beside it, up where the Bertie Bowl was going to go. Have a slim down RTE, let it do the basics, and get them out of Donnybrook. That is not RTE's property. That is our property. That belongs to the state. Take that over, put it through an SEA process for housing, and design a village there, and have a good debate about it, and decide who's going to get the homes, and put them maybe 4 stories high might be enough, not too big, and make them nice and comfortable for people who have given so much and maybe who are down on the luck, and people who've worked all their lives and find themselves maybe in a big house, maybe they want to sell it, or whatever reason. There's a prime site there. You could have shopping centres, hairdressing salons, and maybe some businesses, even a garage or whatever. That site in RTE must be taken to hell off them creeps. It must be taken from them, and let them go out there and look at what the real world is. Okay? To summarise, folks, the absolute unfairness and hypocrisy of having the whole laws of our country effectively made in Dublin 4 and Dublin 6 and out by Down Leary Rathdown, and all of this influence, and the media influenced. Their children are working in RTE. They get their handy jobs in RTE. Everything's there. If you horse them out of there and let somebody else that needs it use that property and make that, you'd make a lot of money from the sale of the site or whatever it is, private or public partnership or whatever. Please don't push me on that. And you would have a much better situation. That is the reality. Now, just to get that from me again, folks, we have a situation where a couple of square kilometres in the Dublin South area, Dublin Bay South, Dún Laoghaire, Rathdown and Ranelagh and that area, are the home for all the judges, most of them, all the politicians that have say, Eamon Ryan lives in Clonskee, right? He doesn't live in Dorset Street. At least Bertie Ahern lived in Dorset Street. And he had the common touch, we have to say that. So this is where they mostly are. Now, there are exceptions. Roderick O'Gorman, I think he's up out the north side somewhere. But you'll get them all around there. The Castleknock is a swanky area. That's where Leo Varadkar comes from. Leo Varadkar. And then we have the country areas. But we are being shafted by these, and I have launched a bitter campaign to fight them. To fight them every way I know. And that's the more we do, the better. I went up to Churchtown, another yuppie area, with 80 of us. And we had some very well-to-do people with us. And I checked the law and I give them the go-ahead. And we went door to door for 2 days campaigning against Alex White TD. And the old idiot was sitting on a bench there trying to canvass. And he saw us going around asking people not to vote for it. And I said, Alex, we're going to put you out. And we did. And that's what really needs to be done. Negative campaigning. It's very effective. You can say anything when you meet them face to face and try and wrench them off voting for Ryan. and voting for Roderick O'Connor and voting for Leo Varadkar, and to at least, before I finish, to please understand. You can look at any community or any country or any section of a country and you can figure out what's going on. You can figure out what's going on. It's not a case that everyone knows what's going on, but I can see what's going on, and so can several others. And if I broadcast this out, maybe people would begin to say, do you know something? That is the case. We are being run by a minority of yuppie, upwardly social, mobile, who have an advantage, who have privilege, and they whinge about me that works with me hands. Look at me hands. Farming. Oh, you're white, privileged, straight. Oh, male. Oh, this is what they think of us. They hate us with a vengeance. They hate us with a vengeance. Folks, that's it. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't agree with me, and comment underneath. And thank you all, and we'll see you back for something soon again. Thank you.